I look. So we got top donator and this IRL streamer's life. Why did I just have an aneurysm, bro? I need to lock in. I need to lock in. So I saw this on my For You page, and I see it was posted around 9 days ago. I have no idea what time period you're gonna see this in, so it could for sure be a lot longer since this happened. But I'm not gonna lie, live streaming is risky, but it's such a good way to make content though. Cause on one hand, you can just be out and about and anything can happen. The Dr. Pepper guy can pull up on you. You can just meet fans, interact with people. But I feel like on the other side, you have that weird side. You have that weird side where it's like people can just be stalking you. People can just be weird in a sense. Like they'll say something weird. They'll say something that'll probably get you banned. Is it likely or does it happen often? No, but it has happened. And the thing that saddens me the most is probably that it happens mainly to women. Like female streamers. It'll mainly happen to them. Like, we're seeing this happen to this girl. She passed away, I'm assuming. But it's not, it doesn't even go to that extent most of the time. Sometimes it's just some guy being weird to a group of women. Like, I remember there was this incident that occurred to a Twitch streamer. It was like a trio of like Cinna, Valkyrie Ray, and I think Pokimane. I'm not too sure, but some guy was just harassing him, and it's like they literally had to go to a store, ask, "Yo, can you hide us, please? There's this weird guy following us." Like, that's traumatizing, bro. And the fact that no one's really trying to step in or nothing, like, I don't know why people didn't, like, yo, back up, like, get away, like, that type of thing. But it's like, yo, IRL streaming can be so risky, bro.
This streamer just finished her stream like it was any other day, but 30 minutes later, her top donator ended her life. This is just one of those awfully tragic stories, which unfortunately aren't even anomalies anymore, as this pretty recently happened in Japan as well. But a Korean live streamer with over 300,000 followers went live for one last time. 30 minutes later, she was gone. And the person responsible wasn't some masked stranger in the shadows. It was one of her biggest donators. This man spent over $70,000 on her streams, a man who pretended to be some tech CEO. And the streamer's name is Yoonji Ah. And I really don't enjoy covering stories like this, but I think they do matter, especially for anyone who lives their life online or makes their money there. So Yoon, she was 27 years old. She was a growing influencer, a live streamer, and even an actress with big dreams. She streamed on TikTok and other platforms, building a loyal audience. And as of October 2nd, her last post included the announcement of her passing. Because on September 11th, 2025, she finished what could have been a normal stream from Yeongjeon Island. She logged off, probably thinking about her future collab streams or dinner plans, but within 30 minutes, she was attacked. Hours later, her body was found on a remote mountainside in Muju County. Police say that she was strangled, and I saw the sun-covered images of where her body was found, and I'm really not comfortable showing those here. But sadly, they're out there on the internet. Just know, it was very obvious someone tried to hide her. The guy who did it, his name is Choi. He's a man in his 50s. Online, he called himself Black Cat. And Black Cat wasn't just any fan, he was a VIP. This is a guy who would drop eye-watering amounts of donations during streams. The guy who popped up over and over again. He spent over...
Yo, but what makes someone just snap like that? What makes someone just decide, yeah, I spent all this money, now let me just get rid of him? Because obviously he felt some sort of connection to put all that money into her. 70 bands. That's not light, bro. That is not light money. So, for him to do all that and then proceed to off, rest in peace to her, this lady, what happened? Like, yo, some people just need to be looked into, bro. Some people just need to, like, I don't want to say it, but I'm not gonna lie, they need some sort of injection, bro. Because this is sickening. And the fact, it's probably not even the only case that has happened this year. It's probably because she only had a bigger following, 300,000. It's like that it got more notice. But even so, it's like this whole this whole case is just disturbing, bro.
100 million won, which is roughly $70,000. He told everyone he was a wealthy CEO of an IT company. You know, the classic like, hey, look, I'm this pompous big guy. But in reality, he was nothing. The dude was buried in debt. His house had literally been seized in a forced auction the day the incident happened. And I really do not think that's a coincidence. It sounds more like a trigger that set him off. I mean, just from looking at the story, it's obvious he was not living a good life. He was completely living a lie. But like many people with fragile egos, and I guess way too much time on their hands, he built this whole fake identity and persona and threw money at someone to feel powerful. And eventually, Troy managed to do what a lot of these big spenders try to do: blur the lines between being a fan and someone who is directly involved with their life. He promised Yoon that he could grow her audience, get her sponsorships, boost her career, and just work together. That's what he wanted. He sold himself as a guy with connections to her. And unfortunately, when you're a young creator trying to build something, that could sound like a good deal. So Yoon went along with it for a while. But apparently, Choi wasn't just invested financially. He was possessive and started demanding more and more of her. Basically, this creep started acting like a partner that Yoon never agreed to have. And eventually, Yoon had enough. She decided to cut ties. And this is where things got terrifying. Because I guess when someone like Choi feels the control slipping...
Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. He's overly invested, not right in his head, basically. Creating his own story and narrative of who he is to her and the connection they have. And she ain't like that. She ain't like this sort of possessiveness. Like, no one would, bro. Like, yo, I'm a streamer. You just support me. I appreciate the support. That's it. That's it, bro. In a weird way, it's like you're not special in a way. Like, I don't know you personally, bro. Like, I love the support, that type of thing, but I don't know you. So for you to believe that we have some sort of relationship beyond just streamer and viewer is where you start to lose yourself and start to your whole perspective on reality just collapses. And that always leads to, or gets followed up by some sort of strange behaviors of possessiveness, stalking, things like that, and they try and block them out the life. Now, I have a belief, like, I think people would just, like, try and block them, like, not take it straight to authorities, because it's like, yo, they did all this, and if I just block them like that, or get the police involved, it's gonna be a whole different issue, which I'm not gonna lie, in a lot of cases, it's like, that's the first thing you should do, because you're playing with someone who's not in the right mind. You're not. And someone seeing that is like, that person seeing that is like, yo, they don't want nothing to do with me. I got nothing to lose. He's in debt, bro. He got evicted. He got his house taken away. Like, bro, he has nothing to lose. So it's like, you never know where that person's head could go. You never know, especially if they're not in the right state of mind. He obviously wasn't, bro. He wasn't. Well, that's...
way, it doesn't end with a quiet unfollow. CCTV footage from that day shows him kneeling in front of her, literally begging her to stay in their partnership. And that is when the moment happened. Because at 3:24 p.m., Yoon tries to get out of the car, but she doesn't make it out. Choi grabs her, drags her back inside, and slams the door shut. And unfortunately, this is the last time she's seen alive. And then according to the eventual confession, Choi ended Yoon's life shortly after that. He then shoved her into a suitcase. So please put this guy under the prison. He then drove out to the mountains to dump her, and apparently the guy thought he was some sort of like criminal mastermind, because on the way there, he stopped 8 separate times to, I guess, throw off investigators. Because, you know, there's nothing like saying, hey, I'm a criminal genius, like leaving a GPS breadcrumb trail across half the country and begging on your knees right before the crime actually happened. I'll call it what it is. It's pathetic, cruel, and just plain stupid. This guy is literally a Hall of Fame moron, and her body was discovered later that day. She was gone less than an hour after her final stream. So essentially, she was doing what she loved to do up until the moment someone stole everything from her. The world is just honestly, it's just so sick and twisted. This just sucks. Troy was arrested 12 hours after the body was found. He tried to play innocent at first, the whole like, oh, I don't know what happened. And then when they found the body, everything cracked. He admitted everything then. Essentially, the whole fake CEO confidence completely vanished in about 2 seconds. And this is probably because it never existed in the first place. This guy was in deep financial ruin, and he tried to, I guess, make himself feel important through donations. And when Yoon cut him off, the fantasy just completely collapsed, and he lashed out violently. This is textbook parasocial obsession. These aren't healthy, oh, I support your content vibes. This is, I bought a version of you that only exists in my head, and then I'll punish you if you step out of what I imagined you being like. Like, this is so messed up. And when the news broke, South Korea was furious. Creators started sharing their own stories of obsessive fans. Big streamers, one by one, started being very worried about how they would conduct themselves in public. For example, QTC Cinderella and Valkyrie even pulled out of TwitchCon 2025, saying the case terrified them. And I see why they would be scared, especially if you're a female streamer, because this isn't a one-off thing. There's tons of nut jobs out of there, and for some reason, it just seems to be so much worse for the female streamers. Because you have fans that...
That's what I'm saying, bro. The female streamers have to be careful when they're doing, like, outdoor live streams, like IRL live streams. Because for a guy, it's like, no one's gonna want to do nothing to a guy like it's a guy. I mean, obviously, there's an opportunity, there's still a chance, but that's not to say the cruel actions that could be taken on a woman. It's not the same, bro. It's not. It's not. Like, a female streamer, just a female, bro, they have to constantly watch themselves, especially when they're out by themselves. Like, they have to be cautious. They have to be careful, bro. And imagine if it's night, too. Bro, that's a conundrum. That's a conundrum, bro. And this is me just trying to be lighthearted of the situation, but it's like, yo, if you're a guy, you know that feeling of like when you're just walking behind a female, behind a woman, and it's just like, yo, I don't want it to seem like I'm following her. like you kind of just got to start going a different route. You literally got to go a different route just because the perception of how that could be and just the look it can have. Because no way, shape, or form I'm trying to get labeled as a creep, stalker, like, why are you following me? Like, no, bro. No, I'm good. But, yo, I didn't even know this happened, like this case, but it's so sickening, bro. It's so disturbing. Like, that's all there is to, not all there is to it, but that's all I can say at the moment.
Convince themselves that they have personal relationships with someone who doesn't even know their full name. I mean, it was just earlier this year that we covered a guy who was completely convinced that he was married to Pokimane. Like, imagine, the dude decided to literally go homeless and move to the same city as Pokimane because he thought he was married to her. That is horrifying.
What? I didn't know this. I did not know this happened. That's so weird, bro. The levels of parasocial people can be is so absurd. Like, yes, you can, be fans of a creator and be like, yo, I got some sort of connection. But there's a level there's a limit to it. There's a stoppage point where, like, yo, that's all it is, viewer and streamer, in a sense. That's all it is. You don't know them personally. Unless you meet them, just somehow, some way, you just become homies with them. That's different. Like on some Ray and Kai Cenat type thing. But for you to believe that you're married to a streamer who has never seen you in your life, and the only way they know about you is because you donate money, and an absurd amount, I'm assuming, to even be memorable in their eyes, is absurd. It's absurd. I don't know why you would think that. I don't know how badly you had to be, how badly your mindset has to be for you to believe in things like that. And I do believe there's probably some sort of mental illness that accompanies it. It wouldn't be crazy. 9 times out of 10, I'd believe that. So it's kind of like, you got to be careful with who you interact with or who you just kind of let around you. And not even, like, because you can't even control online space, though. Someone just likes you and, you know, be hopeful they're not parasocial to the extreme. Because bro, I can only imagine how many cases there are. I feel like every female streamer probably has an experience of this. Every woman probably has some weird experience about a guy being weird. Like, I don't know, bro. With things like this, it's like, can you really blame women for hating men? Like, can you really blame them? Bro, I'd be scared. I'd be, in my feelings too. But that's not to say it's like an end all be all, like all men are like this, but it's just the outliers stand out. Like, the few makes the many look awful. So it's a tough predicament. It's a tough predicament.
Me and Pokimane has been dating for 4 months now. Today is our 4-month anniversary. Guys,
What?
she is not single. She is taken. I know she likes to keep up her image saying that she's single and everything, but I am in a relationship with her. We're going to be meeting up soon, and we're engaged, guys. We're engaged. That's why we definitely have to discuss things. We'll be getting married soon, very soon, and we will definitely stream it and let you guys know when it's happening and everything.
You absolutely do not want a person like that anywhere near that streamer. Because clearly these guys don't even see these women as people. They're just fantasy material that they've made up in their own head. They might start with donations, but then apparently they push for contact and then control. And when reality doesn't match the fantasy they've built, apparently things get violent. And we saw this also in Japan, as I mentioned earlier. You had Ari Sato, a 22-year-old YouTuber. She had her life ended while live streaming on the street in Tokyo. It's just so disgusting that this is happening somewhat regularly now. Because in this case, she was walking alone streaming on Who Watch. Then a man approached her, who I guess had lent her money, tracked her down through her stream, and then attacked her in broad daylight.
You see, that's the thing with IRL streaming. It's like, if someone knows that location or is heavy into looking at what's around and trying to find out where you are, like, they can find it out. It's so easy to find things now. So it's like, I don't know, because moving around with bodyguards is like crazy for an IRL live streamer. But it's understandable. Like, I don't blame them. I understand, like, yo, in any predicament, something can go down, and that person, that security guard, will be there to protect you. So it's like, we need more security guards out here. But in all seriousness, though, it's like, bro, that's so scary, though. That's scary, bro. That's horrifying. Like, imagine you're just trying to enjoy a live stream. You're just going out and about. You end it. And someone tracks you down through that live stream. And what I assume is, I said within an hour, she passed away. He was probably stalking her beforehand. And then it led up to all that. Like, that's sick, bro.
Heard her scream before the feed cut out, and the suspect, Kenji Takano, had followed her online for years. He literally hopped on a train from Oyama to Shinjuku just to do this, and the reason was a financial dispute. He'd given her money when he expected something in return. When he didn't get it, he chose violence. And I'm really interested in what the specific details on this was, because I severely doubt a streamer would just randomly loan money from a viewer. But unfortunately, this sounds pretty similar to what happened to Yoon now. And it's sad because every year more creators builds huge audiences, and every year there's another obsessed fan who convinces themselves that money equals ownership. And when the reality just doesn't match up with their fantasy, they explode. And this is just entitlement masked as support. And what really makes it worse is how this happens slowly. Yoon probably didn't look at Choi and think, oh, this guy is dangerous. But then slowly but surely, he became extremely dangerous. Because the dude was donating huge sums. He promised her business opportunities, he was flattering, and slowly those things just turned into complete control. And here's the heartbreaking part. Yoon knew something was wrong. Her family said that she expressed fear about his behavior in days leading up to the event. And unfortunately, when she tried to walk away, he chose to just end her life. On paper, Choi probably looked like the kind of success story that these platforms love to glorify. He seemed to be this big spender and big supporter, but behind the scenes, this guy was clearly living in financial ruin. And what's also extremely shocking about this is this guy seemingly donated so much money that he ended up losing his house. And I think his actions against her was just that total result of his entire fake identity collapsing, and he'd rather just destroy everything than face that. But obviously, there's this one detail to the case that really stuck with a lot of people, and that's the suitcase. Because the suitcase alone gives room to argue that this was definitely premeditated. He begged for her to stay, she said no, and he had already prepared for what to do if she said no. And from everything I see online, Yoon's death sent a shockwave through Korea's streaming world. Creators started hiring extra security, tightening their boundaries, and rethinking meetups and business deals. It's just a massive tragedy, because the reality is Yoon should have still been alive. And I know some people will say, well, she should have known. But I don't think she should have, honestly. Like, let's be clear. Like, she didn't owe him anything. She didn't have to play therapist to someone who lied about everything and was clearly a complete wreck of a person. This is not her fault. Obviously, she could have been more careful, but this is still not her fault. It's just sad. I mean, the uncomfortable truth is if someone's dropping tens of thousands of dollars on a creator they've never met, there's a non-zero chance that person is not doing great mentally. Because this big spender who thought he was untouchable, the guy who spent $70,000 trying to be important, all it took was 12 hours for police to find him and his life to be over forever. And honestly, what a pathetic legacy to leave as a man. Rest in peace, Yoon.
That was heavy. That was a lot. That was a lot. Like, I know I'm not at that level, but like, that's so weird, bro. I don't know. Like, if I was to ever do live streaming, I'd need some sort of security guards around me. Or just be in a group, like, I don't know how I feel about a solo mission, or at least a cameraman with me or something like that. and it's probably amplified if you're a woman. It's probably amplified that feeling that like you gotta watch your back, because 95% of things like that happening is to women. I'd assume. I literally assume it's 95% women. Especially if you're popular, it's probably not just one person. It's probably several. And it's like, what stops like women streamers from speaking up on that? You know, what stops them from speaking up on like viewers and things like that? Spending a lot of money, but being weird and like controlling and obsessive, like delusional in a sense. Well, why not speak up about it? Like, what is in your brain to not do it? And I don't mean that as a sort of criticism. I mean it out of curiosity, because it's like that, like there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do when you're put in that predicament. Because you better hope he doesn't take it to another level. You better not hope he takes it to an extreme. And I'd never wish that on no one. No. Like, but I do wonder, it's like, what makes like a person stop from just not saying something, saying something's wrong? Like, what keeps a person from saying something's not right? And it doesn't have to particularly pertain to female streamers, because it could be like SA victims and things like that. There's so many things where I'm just like, yo, is it the judgment from people or that you might get, ruining someone's life in a sense, the image that people had of them, or the feeling that what if they don't believe you? I don't know, bro. I don't know, cause either way, it's like, yo, I really do feel for all that. Like that should never happen. Should never happen for no one. Aside from that, rest in peace to her. That's all I gotta say, honestly. See ya.